Hey team, Coach Doherty here. Today I want to talk about a game changer for your business, Whitewater Consulting. Founded by Chuck Cooper, a veteran in the HR arena, Whitewater is like the MVP for small to mid-size companies. They're experts in human resources, helping you build a team that's as tight-knit as a championship squad. Whitewater's strategy. It's tailoring HR solutions that let you focus on growing your business while taking care of your most valuable players. That's your employees. Ready to huddle up and transform your team? Check them out. Because in business, like in basketball, it's all about teamwork and trust. Let's win this together. Visit Whitewater Consulting and start your championship run today. Hey guys, let me tell you about my friend Fabi at Spark Publications. They are celebrating 25 years as a custom publisher in Charlotte, North Carolina. They specialize in nonfiction books from business to cookbooks, coffee table books to workbooks, all crafted to grow your business, brand, and platform. Are you a leader or business owner with a story to tell? Let Spark turn it into a beautifully designed publication. For more information about Fabi and her team, visit sparkpublications.com. Spark Publications, where your story becomes their mission.
Matt Doherty, the 6'7" sophomore from East Meadow, New York.
Leadership is learned.
A starter on Coach Dean Smith's legendary 1982 Tar Heels National Championship team with Michael Jordan.
Jordan comes down with a rebound. Clears it away to Doherty. Doherty going in against Floyd for the layup. It's good.
Leadership is earned.
Head coach at the University of North Carolina and the University of Notre Dame.
You notice Matt Doherty, he is up working every second of this ball game.
Leadership is taught.
Public speaker, author, and executive coach.
And leadership does not require a title.
This is the Rebound Podcast with Coach Matt Doherty.
Hey guys, thanks for joining me today on the Rebound Podcast with my special guest, Fred Whitfield. At the time of this recording, Fred had just announced his retirement as president of the Charlotte Hornets. He was with the Charlotte Hornets for 17 years. Matter of fact, started when they were called the Charlotte Bobcats. Fred grew up in Greensboro in the 60s, was a very good basketball player, ended up going to Campbell College, what is now Campbell University, played there, was an excellent player, ended up getting his MBA. And while he was getting his MBA, he met a guy named Michael Jordan. See, Campbell College at the time had one of the best basketball camps in the country. All these great coaches and players would come there. And that's how Fred got to know Michael. And that relationship would come full circle years later. But in the meantime, Fred ended up getting his law degree. He ended up working as an agent. He ended up working for Phil Knight and Nike. He left to go back to the NBA with the Washington Wizards, who was owned by Michael Jordan at the time. And then he went back to Nike and helped start the Jordan brand. And then after that, went back to the NBA and took a job as the president of the Charlotte Hornets, where he had a 17-year run. Amazing stories. We had this event at the Community Matters Cafe in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's one of my favorite spots because it's a restaurant that helps people get their lives back on track. It supports the Charlotte Rescue Mission. And if you don't know anything about that, look it up. You're going to enjoy this podcast. Fred is a master storyteller.
Please join me in extending a warm welcome to the esteemed host for the evening, the one and only Coach Matt Doherty.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. David Scott, you don't stop. You keep clapping, David. Yeah, thank you. I want to recognize my team, starting, with Stephanie and Melissa and the crew. Please stand up. Emily, Natalie, thank you very much for putting this event on for me. Anybody that runs a company, Red, Linda, thank you very much. Anybody that runs a company know it takes a team. And I just showed up and this happened. So thank you very much. Also want to thank, this is really a way to celebrate leadership. And I want to celebrate my Vistage members and my coaching clients that are here, my non-Vistage clients. There's one or two, but thank you for allowing me to work with you. It's really a blessing. It's fulfilling work to be a part of your journeys as leaders. And as Coach Smith would do, you try to praise the actions you want repeated. And our annual award winners are being flashed up in the categories that I deem important to have a winning team, like energy. And you have best host. You have all the little things that it takes to make a great team. So I just really appreciate everyone. And this is a celebration of leadership and especially of my members and clients. Thank you.
We are also honored to have a true community champion with us tonight. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to our special guest, Fred Whitfield.
Thank you.
After an incredible 17-year journey with the Charlotte Hornets, Fred Whitfield recently announced his transition from the role of president and vice chairman. Despite this change, his commitment to the community remains unwavering. Recognized as the Charlotte Business Journal's Lifetime Achievement Award winner and the prestigious North Carolina Award, Fred's influence extends far beyond the basketball court. Fred Whitfield's personal passion lies in ensuring a bright future for at-risk youth. Through his nonprofit Hoopty charities, he provides academic scholarships that impact the lives of underprivileged students. Achievements Unlimited, a part of Hoopty charities, has given over 15,000 underserved kids in the community a chance to attend a one-week summer camp that blends sports with character-building messages and educational enrichment. And one personal note, he's also been a guest on my show. I've lost count of how many times, but he's always so gracious and loves to talk to the community over WBT. So please welcome again Fred Whitfield, a leader, a philanthropist, and a true inspiration to this community.
Thanks, Bo.
All right. Let's get to it.
Yes, sir.
It's like as you coach, you have a game plan, and then you get to the arena, and maybe somebody's hurt. Maybe during the course of the game, the defense changes. Maybe a player's in foul trouble. And, I had this game plan and this script. But when I saw you walk in here with that smile on your face, you look happy.
I am. I'm extremely happy, man.
Why are you happy?
This is, again, I've had a bunch of surreal moments for me in the last month, Matt. And this is kind of another one of my full circle moments because I've known you since you were a freshman at Carolina. And my dear friend Michael Jordan was your teammate and close friend and still is. And, as I have reflected on my career and all the great people that have been my teammates, literally starting as a 7, 8-year-old kid at Windsor Community Center in Greensboro, all the way through Lincoln junior high school. Now, you hear all these 15,000 kids, I'm old, right? So that's one of the reasons I had to step down, but I'm not retiring. Figure out what's next. But, my high school is Southeast Guilford. I mean, to think last Friday night that my high school, humbled me with naming the gym in my honor. And at the same time, Governor Cooper bestowed the Longley Pine Award, which I always thought was the #1 award in the state. So I got that night from one of the state senators who raised me, Gladys Robinson at Providence Baptist Church. And it was just amazing to see all the outpouring of love in my high school and my community that I grew up in. To see the progress we made at Southeast, what the new gym looked like. I'm glad they didn't put my name on the old gym that I played in. But just the progress in the community and Mr. Scott and the great job they've done, that was special. To think back, Matt, just how lucky I was. You mentioned Campbell. I was also a coach at Campball, assistant coach while I was in grad school getting my MBA. And a lot of people don't realize why I went to law school. And now I'm going to really date myself. Press Maravich. Those of you that are older know Coach Press Maravich, Pistol Pete's dad. Well, he was the other assistant coach when I was coaching there, 1981-83. And his granddaughter was in school. So that, again, he was at the end of his great career. But he was the one that told me I was too smart to be a coach. And now I'm looking at what all these NBA coaches are making now, and I'm saying, you know what? I'm running the business operations side, and they got another comma on their salaries than I had on mine. So, but anyway, they came to every game. And that parental support has helped me get to where I am today. And I believe that Campbell, and Southeast Guilford really prepared me for life. And to go back and do the commencement speech at the Big Spring commencement in 2022 was another one of those surreal moments where I knew, like, you know what, your career is about to come to an end doing this. Now, you may go do something else. But honestly, Matt, that's what Southeast taught me. That's what Campbell taught me. I mean, Campbell, other than Bob Jones, probably one of the most conservative schools in the country. Southern Baptist, I had to take CEP, Cultural Enrichment Program, Chapel, that I was in my seat every Tuesday and Thursday to get my A. The one A I knew I was going to get in the semester. But if you're sitting in your chair at Chapel, you're going to get an A. I was there. Now, when I went in those econ classes and accounting, and particularly in the science building, I didn't know what I might come out of there with. But it prepared me to be able to deal with adversity, from people that may not look like me, may not think like me. But you know what? We all are people. And that's how Gene Eamon right here, sitting here with this Grove 23 jacket on that I took him down to play Michael's course. He's been my best friend for 40 years and my absolute best friend, and sat there when my wife traveled when I had cancer. A whole week, 5 times a day, coming, putting my boost in my feeding tube and giving me the morphine and putting on my fentanyl patches. I'm not trying to gross y'all out, but it was a battle. And this dude was with me every step of the way.
Where did you meet Gene?
And this is another funny story. I got a lot of stories. But Natalie, we're going to save some of them for our book. When we do our book,
Natalie's writing your book, and Fabi is publishing the book. We secured that deal right here at the Rebound Live podcast. See what happens when you sponsor the Rebound Live podcast? Magic happens.
You're right. Magic does happen. My mom taught me at a very young age, and you know this, Matt, unless you got a great team of people with you, nothing good is going to happen, right? And so I've been blessed at the Bobcats in 06 to last week at the Hornets. I got the best senior leadership team in the entire NBA, bar none. And I say that because they all have been with me the whole time. And then I just met this gentleman over here that's doing the sound. He reminded me he worked for the Bobcats in what, 07, 08?
06 when you got there.
Wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But he actually even said he learned something working at the Bobcats, which I thought was for real. And we all worked together. And then I thought, wow, who was my mentor in the NBA? When David Stern told Bob Johnson, you should give this guy a shot. I think if you get some smart people with him, he might be able to be president of your team. And Bob hired me, and I'm eternally indebted to Bob. A lot of people think Michael hired me. Michael was running basketball. I was running business. And when we were in Washington together at the Wizards, he and I both were on the basketball side. Well, we can call it whatever happened in Washington, parting of ways, or we both sought new opportunities, or whatever happened in Washington. We learned a lot there about what to do in a company if we ever owned a basketball team again. And he wanted to own one, how to run this company better. And so we came out of that. And when Bob hired me, I started running the business side. Michael's running the basketball side. David Stern says, okay, dummy, I'm going to put you with the 2 best in the league, and they're going to teach you how to do this. Scott O'Neal, who at the time worked for the NBA. You know Scott. And I think the best and greatest of all time, Rick Wells. You know Rick?
I don't know Rick, but I know who Rick is. Yes.
Rick is a legend. He was 40 years in the NBA working, started as a ball boy for Seattle Supersonics as an 8-year-old. And if I was a betting man, I'd bet he's going to be the one to get an expansion team in Seattle. where they left the Supersonics name.
Yeah.
So then they had to rebuild the way we did with the Bobcats name. Start over, then start over again, start over again. Rick is unbelievable. And guess what? He was the first openly gay president in all of professional sports.
So just as a common theme, and this is leadership, you have had to navigate some very complex environments. You know, the All-Star game here, Rick Welch, Adam Silver, Washington Wizards, the politics, the business side, running a public institution like an NBA franchise. What would you say is your leadership style? And what is your strength to be able to connect and get the respect of these people to make things happen?
I've been trying to emulate, like, my business hero for life in leadership style, because he allowed me to work for him twice. And you don't work for this company. If you leave once and you think you're good enough to lead this company, you ain't coming back. I don't care how hard you beg. I don't care how smart you get. You're not coming back. Because at that company, there's no middle of the road. Either you're with us or you're not. And once you decide you're not, you're not. And that company's Nike. And Phil Knight, thank God, let me come back after I left to go work for the Washington Wizards with Michael Jordan, thinking I was in the big time. I'm in the NBA. What in the world would I go back to Nike for? Little did I know, we'd be parting ways or going in a different direction. I'd be pursuing other opportunities when I left the Wizards. And Mr. Knight welcomed me back in a little bitty company called Jordan Brand, who was very small in 2006. Yeah, we were doing 2003 when I got fired. Not fired. We went in a different direction.
Yeah.
In Washington.
I know that feeling.
You know?
I know that feeling.
If you want to build a business with an engaged workforce and a thriving bottom line, you need to work with Chuck Cooper of Whitewater Consulting. Chuck is a passionate professional who specializes in providing clarity and peace of mind to business owners through innovative HR solutions. And since your people are your greatest asset, you want to make sure you're working with a trusted and experienced partner so that you can focus on running your business according to your vision. Schedule a call with Chuck today by visiting whitewaterconsulting.net or by calling us at 704-236-3131. For more than 25 years, Spark Publications has been publishing effective and engaging designs for both print and digital publications. Whether it's magazines, cookbooks, business books, or a gorgeous coffee table book to showcase your brand, Spark Publications is a partner trusted by many professional leaders. Spark's in-house publishing team produces award-winning work with their deep-level experience from all segments of the publishing industry, and they are ready to work with you to bring your unique vision to life. Visit sparkpublications.com/books to get your near-future book started.
Is this your show or my show?
It's actually, I think it's your show. I'm just going to put the mic down and I'm going to go sit in the crowd. This isn't your first rodeo.
No, and I tell you, if Keith Cocker were here, he'd be cutting me off. Let me tell you one more funny story, and then I'm going to stop. We got to say something for Natalie right. I'm not sick. I'm recovering from throat cancer, and I just had a scan yesterday. My doctor told me that's normal for a while. Cancer-free. Yeah, let me get that out there. Because if y'all read in the paper, the press release, it's my fault. I made it sound like I was dying and my mom was dying, all in the same article, and that's why I stepped away. But I'm cancer-free. My 3-month, 6-month scans have been clean. I scoped yesterday. I'm clean. My mom broke her hip a year ago. I definitely thought she was done at 91. She's 92 now, back in independent living and come to every Hornets game.
I was worried, when I see you now, I see you at games and you're quiet and reserved and you basically give the handshake and yeah, how you doing? You move on. See you at the golf course at Quail Hollow when they're playing the PGA and, I thought you were kind of quiet and reserved and shy. Dang.
Hey, you know what you forgot? NASCAR races. 2311 Racing, that's our race team. Again, I got a little bitty piece with Michael and Danny and Curtis Pope.
That's a pretty building going up on 77.
It's beautiful. And I grew up on NASCAR.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir. Yeah, go ahead.
This is
let me tell you about Phil Knight.
Shoe Dog, come on, man.
Let me tell you about Phil Knight.
Whoa.
That's my business hero.
Yeah, well, if you read that book, Shoe Dog, I mean, and the group here, a lot of readers, and they want to get inspired. And the gumption, the confidence, the courage it took for him to do what he did, selling shoes out of the back of a, blue ribbon and going to China and all that he did.
Waffle iron, making the shoes on a waffle iron.
Yeah. And then the movie Air, how accurate was that movie Air?
You got a good friend named Michael Jordan, don't you?
Yeah.
Ask him.
Oh.
Because I'm not going to give my opinion.
Okay.
Because they say I talk too much these days. I enjoyed it. Gene, actually, my wife didn't want to go, and Gene and I went together over in Park Road Shopping Center, right? And watched it. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, all the true stuff in it.
Yeah.
I was at a lot of it. I remember
bet
that
you
part.
were.
Some of that other stuff.
Like, yeah.
I don't know about that, but maybe Michael remembers it.
Well, you just told a lot there. How did your relationship with Michael start? When did you first meet him?
I met him in Bowie's Creek at Campbell University. And that's another reason I feel so indebted to Campbell. My wife and I have endowed 3 scholarships there for underserved kids. One in honor of Danny Roberts, who you probably worked his camp back in the day, my coach.
Mm-hmm.
And
I spoke at that camp in 1984.
Well, guess what? I met Michael there, like going in his senior year. And when you guys
speaking at the camp, or was
he showed up speaking at the camp?
Yeah, it was the biggest camp in the country.
Huge.
They had John Wooden would fly from California to come work the camp, like for the week. They had 700 kids per week in Bowie's Creek. Yeah.
And I grew up in that camp. I was that fortunate kid that I'd say we were lower middle class. My mom was a school teacher. My dad worked at the post office. But my mom was a miser. Still is to this day. She won't let me touch her checkbook at 92 years old. But they paid for me and my brother to go to basketball school there every year, ages 8 to 18. And dropped us off on Sunday, picked us up on Friday. And we rode on buses to every little school that was a one-room school all over Harnett County that you can imagine and learn basketball. And it was Press Maravich, Pistol Pete, Bones McKinney. I mean, most of you youngsters don't have no idea what we're talking about. But we're talking about the Coach K's and the Dean Smiths back in the day, right?
Yeah, the best of the best.
The best of the best. We're coming to little Bowie's Creek. And those of you that play high school basketball, there used to be a little machine in the corner that was orange that you grab and pull down and learn how to rebound. Most of you remember that?
Yeah.
It's called the McCall's Rebounder. Fred McCall was the coach at Campbell. He invented that machine.
Did he really?
He invented that machine in Angier, North Carolina, and I'm pronouncing it right. That's the back road between Bowie's Creek and Raleigh. If you don't turn and go through Angier, you're going to go through Fuquay Arena, and you're going to get lost.
I had a teammate from Fuquay Arena.
He was lost then. I don't know how he got to Chapel Hill.
Jeff Barlow.
He should have come to Campbell and played for us. He'd got more time. But no, seriously. All of that history right there in Bowie's Creek, people don't know about. So I met Michael there. And then when I finished playing there, I finished in 1980. I went back in 80. I worked for a year. That's how I met Gene. The best training I ever had in my life. And I use it to this day. I use it on my wife. I use it to everybody that's bought a season ticket holder, bought a season ticket at the Hornets, bought a sponsorship. I learned how to sell and oversell and sell and make people feel good about buying a team that won 7 games last year and had the worst record in the history of the NBA. We renewed at 88% of our season ticket holders. That's 6 weeks of sales training at Southern Bell. If you can sell Yellow Pages, you can sell anything. I mean, seriously, just think about it. Yellow Pages, y'all older people in here like me, we used to live in the Yellow Pages. We moved to a new town or whatever, right? You need to get your refrigerator fixed. You want to buy a new car. You don't know where to go. You go to Yellow Pages. And you're trained to go to your eye and your brain to the biggest ads and the ones in red. That's how you go. You pick that out. Well driller, plumber. So the people that really needed Yellow Page ads always said they were too expensive. And they were tied to your phone number. So if you got the ad and you didn't pay your bill, they're going to put you out of business. They're going to cut your phone off. And the people that actually didn't need it, they said, I don't need it. What I need it for? I can't take care of the customers I got. So now if you're out there trying to sell and the people that need it say they can't afford it, and the people that can afford it say they don't need it, you got to find that little sweet spot in the middle and trick them. That, you know what? You do need it, or you do, and keep it in. I know you made $1 million last year, but you needed to get to $2 million. And that was the best sales training that I ever got. And I met Gene that way. A guy I went to was in sales training with, said, I'm going to lunch with my fraternity brothers, Chi Phi, right? Chi Phi. I'm Kappa Alpha Psi, different fraternities.
So you go back to law school. You were in private practice for a little bit. I believe you worked for David Falk, the agency, for a little bit.
I did.
And then what was your first partnership with Michael? Was it the Jordan brand? Was it the Wizards? Was it here in Charlotte?
I know Michelle must have sent you my bio. Yes. You ain't know all that about me. Ain't no way. You did your due diligence. Yeah. You got ready?
Oh, yeah. I got ready. I did my homework.
Hey, you thought you were going to get to ask some questions, didn't you? No, okay. My first partnership with Michael.
Michelle, I thought you said he's going to be, more pliable.
Hey, I probably shouldn't say this, but Gene, when somebody asks you to come speak, I'll tell you how much you can talk. 2 minutes.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
But no, seriously, my partnership with Michael started in Bush Creek. We didn't look at it as business, right? We just became friends. And I didn't know he'd be Michael Jordan. When I met you, he was okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't shoot it.
Right.
Couldn't handle. Buzz Peterson was player of the year in North Carolina over him. People don't remember that.
That's right.
That's why Buzz roomed with him.
That's right.
He kept saying, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to win that award. You're the best. You're the best. You're the best. Keep me with you. Keep me with you.
Didn't wear him out in practice.
Oh,
yeah, he paid for that award.
I know.
Yeah.
MJ.
Every day in practice, he paid for it.
Man, I got some stories, lad. Just don't take your pen out yet. We're going to have a good book. But, honestly, we just became friends. And then it just grew. And I really believe the reason we became friends is because his parents and my parents were a lot alike. And he and I were two of those lucky ones that had two parents at home.
That's right. How important is that? How important?
It's the most important thing. And I hope you give me time to talk about my basketball school if I shut up.
I don't know. The store's closed at 10 o'clock. You got to go meet Mary to get some Christmas shopping in.
Hey, I don't have to be at work tomorrow. We can go tomorrow. Hey, I don't have an office now.
Pete, what can you tell us? Let's talk leadership.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to get serious now. I've been joking around. Let's get serious.
Okay. What's your leadership style? And what would you say your biggest strength? And what are some takeaways people here and the listening audience can take away from what you've learned over the years with everything you've done and seen?
Again, Phil Knight, right? Larry Miller, Howard White. They really taught me how to be leaders. And those are all my bosses at Nike and Jordan Brand. And now when I look at Jordan Brand, when I was there, we were doing $300 million a year in 2003. When I left to come here 3 years later, we had put together a whole new strategy. People were asking, why in the world is Derek Jeter wearing Jordans? Why is Warren Sapp wearing Jordan gloves? Why is Terrell Owens wearing Jordan? That was our strategy. Why is Boxer Roy Jones Jr. wearing Jordan boots? It was fun while he was knocking everybody out. That first time I saw him get knocked out, I was like, oh, Lord. Jumpman not supposed to look at you laying down. But I love Roy, and we love Roy. But that's how we grew the brand. That was our secret, right? And from there, when I left in 2006 to come here, we were doing $900 million a year. So we had tripled it. Now that I've gotten out of the way, and we have 4 schools. We have 4 colleges. A lot of people don't remember Cincinnati, when they were number 1 in the country, they were Jordan Brand. A lot of people don't remember Cal Berkeley was Jordan Brand. North Carolina A&T in Greensboro was Jordan Brand. You know why they were Jordan Brand? Michael's brother Larry went to A&T, and so did my daddy. So, and I'm doing the deals, and they got the same colorway as Cal Berkeley, I can sell that in. And they became our HBCU way back then in Carolina, obviously. Now that I got out of the way, I've come down here and messed this basketball team up. They're going to do $8 billion, I heard this year, $8 billion in that little bitty company that was $300 million when I got there. Same model, but smarter guys. Anthony DeCosmo's got my job, a lot smarter than me. Larry Miller's still there, chairman of the board of Jordan Brand. They got a chairman of the board of Jordan Brand, which means Larry's on his book talking tour. Larry Miller, read his book. If you want to read a book, read Larry Miller's book.
What's it titled?
I don't know, but it's talking about him killing somebody when he was 15 years old and being reformed and getting his accounting degree and his MBA and made it all the way to be the president of Jordan Brand. What's the name of his book, Charles?
Wow.
Larry Miller. Put Larry Miller, I know how to Google. Larry Miller, Jordan Brand. What is it? Jump. Get that book. Larry, I'm selling you some books.
There you go.
Can I get a copy of this? Anyway, those were the leaders that I watched. You know why I watched them, Matt? Because I love working for them. I absolutely love working for Phil Knight. I'd run through a wall for him.
Why? How can somebody create that kind of loyalty in an employee?
It's real easy. All you got to do is recognize people. People want to be recognized for success. They want to, they just want you to say thank you and that you did a good job. You ain't got to give them $1,000. You ain't got to give them a big bonus. You know what we do? You know what we do at the Hornets? Well, I used to do it. I don't do it anymore. But somebody's going to take my place. Every month, we have Employee of the Month. That's the best thing that our WOW staff and Marlene Hendricks, who's now running SoFi, she got so good, we couldn't keep her anymore. She's running for 2 football teams in concerts at SoFi. She came up with this idea. Every month, we're going to recognize somebody from every department in the company.
How do you do that? What does it look like?
The department heads, the WOW staff people that sit on the elevator and say, welcome to Spectrum Center. Thanks so much. Enjoy the game. Thanks so much for coming. Sorry we lost tonight, but we'll get them next game. That staff, the people that clean up the building through Jana King, our partner. Levy Foods, who's our partner. Unbelievable food and beverage company. All the managers pick who they say is their top employee each month. And for the last 15 years, once a month, I meet them at mid-court, pregame, and we give them a certificate, and I take a picture with them.
Yeah.
A picture. And that's it. And they get to take the night off and go sit in the suite, and they get to dress up instead of wearing a uniform.
That's Coach Smith would always say, and the people I work with will get tired of me saying it, praise the actions you want repeated, right? Exactly. Radical recognition. Exactly. That's all that was.
So because we didn't lose Carmelo Anthony. He was our first young guy we brought to Jordan Brand when we were building our brand. And there was a chance we wouldn't have gotten him re-signed. And Michael Jordan called Larry and I a few names. Larry was in Portland. I was in Washington in my office. And Michael was in the Bahamas playing golf. And we had to be done talking by 7:30 a.m. Eastern time because he's going to tee off. So Larry, it's 4 o'clock in the morning in Portland, and we're supposed to do a conference call. And Larry don't answer his phone. I said, come on, Larry. You got to get up. Man, this is Carmelo. He's still asleep in Portland. So I got to start the conversation without the president of the Jordan Brand on the phone.
Oh, wow.
But anyway.
How'd that go?
Really well. Larry woke up. He did all the talking. I said, MJ, don't hang up on us. Don't hang up on us. Man, please don't hang up on us. And MJ said, if you guys are willing to put your job on the line,
that's right.
Call up. I love LaMelo Ball. I'm thinking about LaMelo, but now I'm thinking Carmelo. Carmelo. Then y'all keep him. Do the deal. And we kept him. And I was just with Carmelo last week in New York when Howard White was inducted into the Footwear News Hall of Fame. We all were right back there together again. And Reggie Saunders, who runs entertainment marketing, it was like a big family reunion. William Wesley, who's, Wes.
Yeah.
Executive Vice President of the Knicks. And Leon Rose, the President of the Knicks.
So that touched on something with Michael, which I've heard this before. Is like, are you willing to bet your paycheck on that kind of thing?
Right? Yeah. He's told me that several times.
Right? So tell us his management style, his leadership style as an owner, or, you know, his Jordan brand, like how he led.
So he learned from Phil Knight too, right? He became this astute businessman, going to quarterly business review meetings with Phil Knight and Charlie Denson when he was the president, Mark Parker when he was the CEO, now to Mr. Donahoe, John Donahoe, who's the new CEO. We always had quarterly business meetings, and it would be Larry Miller and me on the Jordan brand side and John Slusher on the Nike. He's the most senior sports marketing person at Nike. And then it would be the CEO. And then it would be the president sitting across the other side of the table. And we're strategizing how we're going to get Jordan brand from 300 million to 500 million. We got to go to China. We got to take Michael to China for the first time. He don't want to go to Asia. MJ, you got to go to Asia. They buying a lot of shoes over there, dude. We got to go to Asia. And Nike's going to give us a team plane. Not team plane. It was the Nike team plane, the Nike G5. And we're going to fly straight into Beijing. But Michael watched what Phil did. He watched how Larry and Howard, and even me to a very small extent, how we grew that brand from 300 million to 600 million to $1 billion. Now he's watching Sarah Mensah, who's their new president, who worked there with me, female, who was at the Trailblazers with Larry. Now she's running the brand as president, $8 billion. And ain't no way they got $8 billion if I stayed there. But the Cosmos is a lot smarter than me, and they not going to leave till they get all their stock options and retire young.
Yeah.
But he's right. It's 100% culture. When you can create a culture that people get along, they ain't got to love each other. They just got to get along, right? They just got to work together, and you want them to look different. You don't want a room, but definitely want a bunch of people in the room look like me, sitting around the table trying to make decisions, or think like me, sitting around the room trying to make decisions. You want Gene in the room. You want, not BJ. That's my nephew. You don't want him in the room. You want Mike in the room. You want Natalie in the room. You want men. You want women. You want some Asians. You want some black, some white. You want everybody that was raised differently and thinks differently. That's how the good companies work. And Nike was doing that when Phil Knight started it back in the day, because they in Portland, Oregon. Anybody that's in Portland, Oregon, they all get along. They ain't mad at nobody. They ain't looking at color. They ain't thinking about politics. They just trying to dodge that rain every day in the winter and then enjoying how beautiful it is in the summer. Well, and that culture that's at Nike, you don't see nobody walking around there that's not smiling.
How about
you don't
that?
see anybody walking around there that's not happy. The NBA has all these subcommittees. They have 4 of them. And Commissioner Silver and Commissioner Stern let me sit on all 4 of them. And some of them have 4 team presidents, 4 GMs, 2 team presidents, other people. I sat on all of them. And on the one that really matters, called the Team Advisory Council, we call it TAC, 8 team presidents and Adam's entire senior executive team. And you're supposed to roll off on 3 years. But the pandemic came in and helped me out, because every team president wants to do it, because you're in front of everybody that matters in the NBA. I go to those meetings. The first one, when David was a commissioner, I was hiding. I said, if David Stern calls on me, they're going to realize how dumb I am. So this last meeting, a week and a half ago, I stayed on for 7 years this go around because of the pandemic. I was supposed to roll off in 3. They said, Fred, you got to go. I said, okay, this is my last meeting. I'm going to talk. I talked the whole daggone meeting. I showed them what I learned over the past 16 years. I knew in the back of my mind, I was 65. And I knew this might be my last time on TAC. You know, they told me at luncheon, man, you talk more today than you talked the last 12 years on TAC. And they're right.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. I just want to thank Fred for coming out, really, and what you've done for this community, what you've done for the state of North Carolina.
Leadership is a learned behavior. You're a leader whether you're a parent, a coach, a business owner, or a friend. We all lead in some way, shape, or form. Thanks for listening. I welcome any and all feedback. You can reach me at dohertycoaching.com.